Hello, it's story time. Have you been spending time in the garden recently? Well, today's story is about gardening. It's also a thinly veiled allegory about the human condition. You might want to ask your mum and dad about that. The story today is called Trouble in the Garden. It's based on the works of Holy Bible and illustrated by Google and Photoshop. Once upon a time, there was a famous gardener who made big gardens. He didn't just mess about with pot plants and backyards. No, he made big gardens. And his name was Lord Gordon Xavier. That's a strange name. Try saying that 5 times quickly. Now, Lord Gordon Xavier's greatest work was an extraordinary masterpiece of landscaping. It was entirely built and maintained by the famous gardener himself. Let's just call it the garden. And he spared no expense, lovingly using all of his masterly skills and drawing on his considerable resources. In the garden, there was an amazing wide range of plants and animals, and everything had its own place and role to play in making sure the garden grew and flourished. The result was, well, let's just say, it was very good. Now, at the heart of Lord Gordon Xavier's plans for the garden was people. He put some people into the garden. He loved those people, so he said they could enjoy living in the garden and that everything they needed would be provided for them. And that as they lived in the garden, they would work together with a great gardener to maintain and work on the garden. What a fantastic opportunity for the people. But unfortunately, things started to go wrong. The people stopped listening to the gardener's instructions. They didn't reply to his calls. They came up with their own plans to try and take over the garden for themselves. But their selfish plans damaged the garden. They ruined the garden. What's more, the people couldn't even work together. They argued, they lied to each other, they stole from each other, they hurt each other. Every person was only concerned about what they thought would be good for themselves, and they didn't really care how it might affect anyone or anything else. In short, the people had become like a weed in the garden. That's not good, is it? What should the gardener do? He tried reasoning, arguing, tried appealing, warning, but nothing seemed to get through to the people. What do you think the gardener should do? Now, the logical choice for the gardener would be to get rid of the weeds. Maybe replace the people with something else. Maybe start again. But certainly get rid of the weeds. But what if the gardener still deeply cares for the people? Could there be another option? An option that saves the garden from the weeds, but also saves the people from the great day of weeding that's bound to come. Can you think of what it could be? I don't know about you, but I suspect that whatever it is, it will take quite a lot of effort from the gardener. And probably quite expensive. If you have any thoughts, maybe you could email me. Let me know your suggestions. Then I could finish writing the story. I could publish it. I could become rich and famous as a book author. I could retire and I wouldn't have to work anymore. That would be good, wouldn't it? Until next week, try not to be a weed. Goodbye.